In the 12th century, Baghdad was a city carved from the desert, a golden jewel humming with a whisper of knowledge. Caravans from China, scholars from Persia, and thinkers from across the known world converged here, pulled by the gravity of a civilization on fire with intellect. And woven into this tapestry, hidden behind palace walls, was a figure whose works would whisper through the ages. His name was Ismail Al-Jazari. To many, he was merely a court engineer, a craftsman for the Artukid rulers. But to the few who understood the depth of his mind, he was a thinker centuries ahead of his time, a master of mechanics, and the creator of machines that blurred the line between technology and magic. Yet Al-Jazari himself remained an enigma. What we truly know of him lives only in the pages of his masterpiece, the Compendium of Ingenious Mechanical Devices. It's a book that some say he was commanded to write, to preserve his secrets before they vanished with him. As centuries passed, the world celebrated Da Vinci and European thinkers, while Al-Jazari's works slipped into the shadows. Forgotten by most, but revered by a quiet few who recognized the impossible truth that a man in medieval Mesopotamia might have built the first robots, the first programmable machines, and the first automated systems ever created by human hands. This is the story of that man, not as the world faintly remembers him, but as he lived in the halls of kings, in the glow of oil lamps, and in the endless murmur of water, pouring through his mechanical dreams. The Artukid palace did not reveal its secrets easily. Behind the open courtyards were narrow stone corridors, and at the end of one, behind a heavy cedar door, was the mechanical sanctum of Al-Jazari. The air inside was always warm, not from fire, but from motion. Gears spun slowly, wheels turned softly, and water flowed with clock-like precision. Witnesses spoke of seeing machines they could not explain. Metal birds that flapped their wings, peacock automata whose tails opened, and musicians made of wood and brass who played drums with mechanical accuracy. Al-Jazari moved through this place like a phantom. His hands were stained with oil and copper, but his movements were methodical, almost ceremonial. He rarely spoke. Those who watched him were struck not just by the machines, but by his concentration. It was as if he could hear the internal voices of his inventions. But this excellence was a quiet burden. He created not for fame, but because he could not stop. His machines were extensions of his thoughts in a world that could not yet understand them. One invention, in particular, captured the imagination: the elephant clock. Calling it a clock was insufficient. It was a monument, a story carved into mechanism. It fused cultures into a single machine: an Indian elephant, an Egyptian phoenix, Greek water designs, and an Arabic system of timing. To Al-Jazari, this was a message: knowledge belongs to everyone. When it operated, a hidden bowl filled with water, and as it sank, it pulled a system of strings and pulleys, triggering a serpent to move, a bird to chirp, and a scribe to mark the time. It was a programmable sequence, centuries before the word program existed. He wasn't just showing what machines were. He was showing what they could become. There is a story, recorded in only one manuscript, of an event called the Night of the Silent River. The account says that one night, all the palace fountains and water channels suddenly stopped. Guards rushed through the halls, believing a curse had fallen. Amid the confusion, a faint metallic clicking echoed from Al-Jazari's workshop. He had locked the door and did not respond. For hours they waited, hearing only the occasional thud, the hiss of pressure, and then silence. When the door finally opened, Al-Jazari walked out calmly, hands trembling, eyes unfocused. Behind him, guards reported seeing something large under a cloth, something that emitted heat, something that seemed alive. The next morning, whatever was under the cloth was gone. The palace fountains flowed again, smoother than before. When asked what happened, Al-Jazari simply said, "A machine must not exceed its maker," and never spoke of it again. After that night, something inside him shifted. The machines he built were smaller, gentler, almost humble. A mechanical candle snuffer, a water dispenser with perfect flow. It was as if his brilliance remained, but his ambition had cooled, afraid to touch the edge he had reached. As the years passed, the ruler commanded Al-Jazari to compile a book of his work. The engineer resisted at first, knowing the power of knowledge in the wrong hands, but ultimately he obeyed. For months, his workshop became a library of gears and ink. The result was the Compendium of Ingenious Mechanical Devices, a book of instructions so detailed it could teach a craftsman in a distant land to recreate machines beyond imagination. But hidden within its pages was something more. A series of diagrams so complex, so cryptic, they are referred to only as the devices of the night. Drawings full of interlocking chambers and strange gear ratios, depicting mechanisms with closed feedback loops, concepts centuries ahead of their time. Were they experiments he abandoned? Or blueprints for something he had already built on that silent night? The truth died with him. Toward the end of his life, Al-Jazari spent more time outside, walking along the Tigris River. He watched fishermen, listened to merchants, and observed children playing with sticks and ropes. He spent hours just watching water flow, the purest form of motion. Unending, predictable, yet always alive. The river had fed every one of his machines, and in the quiet mornings, it almost seemed to whisper back. Before his death, Al-Jazari built one last device. No records describe it, except for a single line from a scribe. He built a machine not to measure time, but to preserve it. Some believe it was a machine capable of remembering, not in writing, but in motion itself. A device that contained the memory of its maker, not in words, but in the logic of engineering. Whatever it was, it disappeared after his death. When Al-Jazari died, the palace mourned, but the world did not. For centuries, his name faded. When Europe celebrated Da Vinci, Al-Jazari's work remained in silence. He vanished into history, leaving behind only gears, water, and the faint memory of movement. Then, 700 years after his death, a historian in Istanbul found a manuscript. Dust-covered, incomplete, but unmistakably his. Soon, modern roboticists studied his automata. Engineers looked again at his devices, and the world began to remember a truth it had forgotten. That long before factories roared, long before the first computer clicked to life, a quiet engineer in Baghdad had already imagined what machines could become. Ismail Al-Jazari left no portrait, no letters, no personal philosophy. But he left movement. He left rhythm. He left a heartbeat made of water and gears. And perhaps that is the most fitting legacy of all, because some lives are not remembered in words. Some lives are remembered in motion. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more stories of forgotten genius.